Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
The ability to detect COVID-19 in the air indoors would be a major development, and one company says it's coming.
A spike in COVID cases among children. Just as many are heading back to school, and it's forcing more schools to change their plans for in-person learning.
A reality check on Michigan's economic recovery from the pandemic. How far have we really come since March? Earlier this week, Governor Gretchen Whitmer spoke so glowingly of Michigan's economic recovery, it did raise some eyebrows.
Yeah, Whitmer credits her COVID restrictions for helping get Michigan back operating at, according to her, about 87%. While progress has certainly been made since March, our business editor Rob Maloney has been digging into the governor's claims. And Rod, the reality it appears to be less rosy than what she had to say.
No doubt, Devin. I mean, you don't have to go very far to find a sign like this behind me, the store closing sign, because it's happening all over the state. And so while the governor says the improvement is here, economists that I talked to today, the experts and even business people are saying we're probably more like here.
We still have depression level unemployment in some areas.
If you're looking to gauge Michigan's economic health, it starts with unemployment. And economist Patrick Anderson tells Local 4.
So much closures. You look at retail, so many closed shops, and so many entrepreneurs completely out of work.
Looking ahead, Chief Comera economist Robert Dyke is worried.
And I remain very concerned that this fall we're going to continue to see the ongoing and after effects of the social mitigation policy.
Some Michigan businesses might never get there. Don Slimman runs an up-north bowling alley called Spartan West.
I'm going to lose my business in another 30 days.
While it is difficult to see him, you can hear the desperation in his voice. He opened his center 30 years ago and testified via Zoom call today before a Michigan legislative committee looking at the business impact of the COVID shutdowns.
I've worked in prison systems. I've done all sorts of things and never been scared. I was born and raised in Detroit. I was never scared in Detroit. And now I am scared. I am scared to death that I'm going to lose everything that I worked for my whole entire life.
We have people that are out of work by government edict now. And I can't remember another time in my career where we had so many people who were out of work because of the government closed their shops or prevented them from working.
And so Anderson is saying that Michigan is lagging other states who have opened up more economically. And he also believes that the restrictions should come down in that Michigan hospitalization rates back in March. He said that was severe, but he says the curve has been flattened, and so should the restrictions. Back to you.
Well, Rod, if it begins and ends with unemployment, what are you hearing about Michigan's future prospects on that front?
Robert Dye gave perspective on that. He said, look, we lost 1 million jobs. We've got about 500,000 back. And he says what he's worried about is that we might only get about half of that back. That's a lot of jobs not replaced.
Not all of it is retrievable. Yeah, all right, Rod.
The term unsurvivable is being used by officials to describe the potential storm surge from Hurricane Laura, now expected to make landfall tonight as a Category 4. People along the Gulf Coast are preparing, some by reinforcing their homes, others by getting out of town.
It was going to stay, but when they said Category 4, that was it. Even though the house is supposed to be, nah, I don't think so.
When you've lived on the island most of your life, all your life, you're going to weather storms, so we're going to weather it out, see how it goes.
Wow. Well, Ben is in the Weather Center with a look at where Laura is now and where the hurricane is headed. This is just going to be a horribly frightening night ahead, Ben.
Yeah, it's coming not only during nightfall, Karen, it's also going to be coming apparently at high tide. The 6 o'clock advisory is out, and they're saying that low tide occurred within the last hour. So now the tides are going to be rising just as this storm is making landfall tonight. There are the 6 o'clock numbers, 145 mile per hour winds. It is a Category 4 storm. Likely the storm storm is going to strengthen somewhat and come ashore with 150 mile per hour sustained winds. That's towards the top end of that Category 4 range, by the way. It will weaken considerably as it moves inland to a tropical storm within about 24 hours or less. But the rain bands have already made it ashore. You see those tornado warnings out there that are well north of the coastline. But as we say multiple times every hurricane season, it's not just the wind, it's the water. Storm surge could be as high as 15 to 20 feet above normal levels. It is hard to sort of visualize that, but that's literally 15 to 20 feet above where it normally is. So we're going to continue to watch that, and we'll have the latest not only on Laura, but of course on our chance of seeing thunderstorms here tomorrow in just a few minutes, guys.
All right, Ben. State of Michigan reporting 761 new cases of COVID-19 today and 7 additional deaths now added to the tally. The issue of nursing homes. The Department of Justice has sent a letter to Governor Whitmer requesting documents and information on Michigan nursing homes. The DOJ says it's deciding whether to open an investigation into possible civil rights violations resulting from COVID-positive patients being housed in nursing homes. Same request went out to 3 other governors, all of them Democrats, will note. About an hour ago, Governor Whitmer's office put out a statement calling the DOJ letter an example of election year politics by the Trump administration during RNC week. Spokesperson says the governor will, quote, respond as appropriate. Now, we've just learned Heartland High School in Livingston County switching to remote learning only as well. That's just after 1 week of also offering an in-person option. The reason for that decision? A spike in COVID cases among Heartland area teenagers. That's an example of a nationwide trend. And Dr. Frank McGeorge joins us now with a closer look at these numbers. Frank?
Yeah, Devin, you know, while most kids will have mild forms of illness and hospitalizations and fatalities among children are still rare, some will face serious health complications. Because we don't have a specific treatment, the risk is simply in the numbers. More infections mean more complications. Continued warnings about climbing numbers of COVID cases in children. The CDC says young people ages 17 and under account for more than 7% of infections. And the American Academy of Pediatrics found cases among children went up 21% between August 6th and 20th.
This tells us that children do get this disease. And the more we have community spread, the more children are going to get it.
While young patients generally have mild illness, some develop severe symptoms or complications, including multisystem inflammatory syndrome in children, or MIS-C. According to the CDC, there are now at least 694 known cases of the condition in 42 states.
We know these kids are extremely sick.
Dr. Julie Zerdum has treated confirmed and suspected cases at Nationwide Children's Hospital in Ohio.
They tend to have really severe abdominal pain, unable to function, and really intense fevers. They may have breathing problems. They may have unusual rashes, redness to the eyes.
The rare and potentially deadly syndrome is triggered by exposure to COVID-19 and seems disproportionately to impact Black and Latino children. Now, while pediatric cases continue to increase, there's another new paper published in the Journal of Pediatrics that has further identified that infected children have significantly higher levels of virus in their airway than even hospitalized adults with COVID-19. So there's that to consider too. Back to you.
Such a fascinating finding. All right, Frank.
Well, our homes are equipped with devices that can detect trouble in the air from threats like smoke and carbon monoxide. Could that soon be possible with COVID-19? Paula Tubman has an exclusive look at the technology that could be a game changer and the company developing it.
Think about the invisible, scentless, poisonous gas, carbon monoxide. Hundreds of people die every year because they simply don't know they are breathing poisonous air. Now, think of the lives a simple CO monitor or carbon monoxide monitor saves by sounding an alarm if the gas is present. Well, it is possible. The newest canary in the mine shaft is for COVID-19.
We monitor all aspects that determines whether the air we breathe is safe. We monitor things like particles in the air, particles can be virus-bearing particles. And so if we detect a lot of them, and if there is potentially a virus, we know that it's a dangerous space.
SenseWare, an air quality company in Washington, D.C., which maps the footprints of various airborne particles and integrates sensors that can tell when those particles are present, is now developing technology to report the presence of COVID-19 air particles in real time. The sensor is already in its third-party trial for a real-time COVID-19 sensor.
It's basically a pathogen sensor, and the sensor has the unique footprint of the virus.
There are lots of different kinds of particles in the air, and by being able to isolate them, to map their characteristics, synthetically reproduce those particles, to test the efficacy of a sensor's ability to recognize that so-called footprint or biomarkers, researchers have been able to develop this sensor, no different than a smoke detector, CO monitor, radon gas monitor, or any other particulate alert system. And developing this monitor is a game changer for the world. So the product is still in its testing phases. In September, it will actually be tested in hospitals and care centers where there is a high likelihood of a presence of the disease, to make sure that this actually works in a field setting. And if all goes well, we should actually see this coming to us in Inside Spaces by mid-October, and know that we will keep our eye on this for you. Paula Tutman, Local 4.
All right, Paula. Increasing black voter turnout this November is the goal of a new campaign launched by the NAACP. Larry Spruill shows us how it works in tonight's Voices of a Nation report, a series that focuses on issues surrounding race, equity, and multiculturalism in our community.
Yeah, Devin, the NAACP says Metro Detroit is at the center of voting when it comes to this upcoming November election, and that's why they are trying to make sure that they go to the polls in record numbers.
At NAACP, we have launched a voter engagement program to ensure we increase voter turnout for this election cycle.
NAACP President Derek Johnson tells me that's the goal for November 2020. That's why they started a multi-million-dollar advertising voting campaign called Black Voices Change Lives. It's focusing on 6 battleground states. Michigan is one of them.
We've seen for the first time in 20 years a downturn in black voter participation, and we know we cannot afford to have a light turnout in the African American community for 2020. So we are encouraging people from across the country, but particularly in the Detroit metro area, to vote. Our lives depend on it.
Johnson says the goal of the campaign is to increase black voter turnout at the polls in November by 5% compared to 2016, but says this year so much is at stake.
We're concerned about the current health pandemic, and we're concerned about the economic downturn that we've seen over the last several months. If we're concerned about the level of racial injustice that's spreading across the country.
And if you are interested in registering to vote, or you want to simply know where to vote, that information is on our website. Click on Detroit.com. We're live tonight. Larry Spruill, Local 4.
Okay, Larry.
The numbers show young adults are driving the spread of COVID-19. Just ahead, the new effort to try and change some of those behaviors.
Also speaking to the media for the first time since gaining his freedom, the man known to many as White Boy Rick talks about his goals and something that keeps happening to him in restaurants.
The products that you need to help your child succeed. The one item a teacher mom says that every parent must buy right now.
Tomorrow on Local 4 News Today.